The 9 contestants preparing for tonight's show are eligible bachelors. At stake is a prize fund of up to £50,000, but there can only be one winner. The rest will leave with nothing when they're voted off as the weakest link.
Welcome to an eligible bachelor's edition of The Weakest Link. The 9 men in the studio here tonight are young, free and single. They're here to play for up to £50,000. They don't know each other, however. If they want that prize money, they'll have to work as a team, but 8 of them will leave with nothing. As round by round we lose the player voted the weakest link. Let's meet the team.
I'm Kieran, I'm 28, I'm from Scotland. I'm a TV presenter and an actor.
I'm Jazz, I'm 24, I'm from Coventry and I work as a doctor in Manchester.
I'm Jamie, I'm 25, I'm from Manchester and I'm a professional rugby player.
I'm Michael, I'm 28, I live in London. I'm a partner at a venture capital fund and I'm a polo patron.
I'm Brian, I'm 25, I'm from Belfast and I'm a primary school teacher.
I'm Asjad, I'm 28, I'm from Northampton. I'm an Indian showbiz king and a brilliant writer.
I'm Carl, I'm 30, from Manchester, managing director of my own promotions company.
I'm Simon, I'm 27, from Preston, and I'm a football commentator.
I am Dave, I'm 33, I'm from London, I'm a barrister and I'm a poet.
Now the rules in each round, the aim is to answer enough questions correctly to reach your £5,000 target within the time limit. The fastest way is to create a chain of 9 correct answers. Get your question wrong and you break the chain and lose all the money in that chain. But if you say the word back before the question is asked, the money is safe. However, you start a new chain from scratch. Remember, team, at the end of the round, only money that's been banked can be taken forward. In round 1, there are 3 minutes on the clock. We'll start with the person whose name is first alphabetically. That's you, Asjad. Let's play The Weakest Link. The first question is for £100. Start the clock. Asjad, in the UK, a stag party traditionally takes place before which event?
Wedding.
Correct. Carl. In maths, what is 1/5 of 5?
1.
Correct. Simon. What F is a word that follows candy and dental to give the names of 2 materials, one that causes tooth decay and one that can prevent it?
Floss.
Correct. Dave. In geography, Lake Ontario lies on the border of Canada and which other country?
America.
Correct. Kieran. In British media, what type of daily national newspaper is The Independent, a broadsheet or a tabloid?
A broadsheet.
Correct. Jazz. Many married people refer to their spouses as my better or my other what?
Half.
Correct. Jamie. In literature, the book title translated into English in 1883 as Aphorisms on Love is known in Sanskrit as the Karma what?
Sutra.
Correct. Michael. In clothing, what S is the name of a light, easy-fitting shoe designed to be worn indoors?
Sneaker.
Slipper. Brian. In geography, in which country the UK is the town of John O'Groats?
Scotland.
Correct. Asjad. Which British actress starred in the film The Mummy and its 2001 sequel, The Mummy Returns?
Rachel Weisz.
Correct. Carl. In food, a common tip to stop pasta sticking is to add a tablespoon of what to the boiling water?
Oil.
Correct. Simon. In TV, which Saturday afternoon sports programme was first broadcast in 1958?
World of Sport.
No, Grandstand. Dave. In pop music in 2002, which former Beatle began a 19-city concert tour entitled Driving USA in San Francisco?
Paul McCartney.
Correct. Kieran. What N is the name for a small lump of gold or a piece of chicken fried in breadcrumbs?
Nugget.
Correct. Jazz. In politics, the 2-word term for the rank-and-file members of a party as distinct from the leaders is the grass what?
Roots.
Correct. Jamie. In DIY, medium density fibreboard is usually abbreviated to which 3 letters?
Ply.
MDF. Michael, before a concert, an orchestra tunes to which instrument, the viola or the oboe?
Viola.
No, the oboe. Brian. In children's literature, The Jungle Book was written by Rudyard who?
Kipling.
Correct, Asjad. In science, which five-letter word means to be supported or suspended in a fluid and is opposite of sink?
Float.
Correct, Carl. What T is the Spanish word for a bullfighter, sometimes on horseback?
Pass.
Toreador. Simon. The Pulitzer Prize-winning novel The Shipping News was made into a film starring which American actor in the lead role of Coyle?
I can't remember.
Kevin Spacey. Dave, in medicine, the Red Cross movement was founded in which European country?
England.
Switzerland. Kieran, in nature, what kind of... Time's up. And out of a possible £5,000, you achieved a very, very pathetic £1,500. Have any of you got any brains? If you did marry, would you all expect your wives to keep you? It's time to vote on the weakest link.
Answering the most questions correctly makes Asjad the first strongest link, according to the statistics. Michael failed to answer a single question correctly, making him the weakest link. But will the other players notice that?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Michael.
Michael.
Carl.
Carl.
Jimmy.
Simon.
Michael.
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 Kieran,
Yes, Anne.
what makes you eligible?
I don't know. I went into the competition last year and I won. I don't know why.
What sort of competition?
Bachelor of the Year award.
Was your shirt ironed on that occasion?
Well, actually, Anne, I'm looking for a good woman to iron my shirt. Are you open to it?
How tall are you?
5'11".
Are we sure about that, Kieran?
Yes. You want to measure me? I measure up, I can assure you.
Just step off your podium a minute and move to the right.
Ah, he's 6'1", look.
6'2".
6'2", there you go. That's 3 inches.
Turn sideways, Kieran. Well, those are a very nice pair of stacked heels, aren't they, Kieran?
You get heels on as well, Anne. Let's see how measure up to you. Bike to bike.
Kieran, get back in your box. What do you do, Kieran?
I'm a presenter, an actor.
How much money do you earn a year?
I don't make as much as you do, Anne.
Nobody makes as much
That's
as
true.
I do.
I don't think Bill Gates makes as much as you.
Why Michael?
Because you get 2 questions wrong.
Carl,
Anne.
are you here because of your looks?
Some people must have chose it that way, yes.
Which people were they?
The gay community.
Oh. Have you got any titles?
Mr. Gay UK.
Did somebody tell you to wear pale blue?
I was told it looked good for the cameras.
Oh,
and I like
who
baby
told
blue.
you that? Why Michael?
You got 2 questions wrong. I just found it rather annoying.
So, little Simon. What do you do, dear?
I watch football, Anne.
What sort of football do you watch?
I watch Sunderland.
Who pays you to watch Sunderland?
I work for a radio station in the North East.
Will they be upset to know you've never heard of Grandstand on television?
They would hope I was at work then, probably.
Who are you appealing to, apart from stupid women?
My mum and my gran quite like me.
What do you think of feminism?
I'm all up there for it, Anne.
You're all up there for it, are you? Why Michael?
I couldn't spell Asjad.
Well, Michael, we'll never know if that's a wig. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I don't think my poor performance on the first round will really hurt me too much. I mean, hey, I'm still a nice guy, and who knows, maybe I'll get a little sympathy love.
Round round 2, and so far you've won £1,500 out of a possible 5,000. You're down to 8 players. We're now taking 10 seconds off your time. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Asjad. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Asjad, in pop music, John Paul Young had a UK hit single in 1978 with a song that later featured in the 1992 film Strictly Ballroom called Love Is in the What?
Air.
Correct, Carl. In customs, what M is the name given to someone who tries to arrange romantic partnerships or marriages between people?
Pass.
Matchmaker. Simon, in armaments, an underground structure housing a nuclear missile has the same name as which agricultural storage chamber?
Bunker.
Silo. Dave, in April 2002, which Good Life actress was invested as High Sheriff of Surrey?
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Penelope Keith. Kieran, in the animal kingdom, chub and flounder are types of what kind of creature, fish or fowl?
Fish.
Correct, Jazz. In the United States, Carnegie Hall and Central Park are in which East Coast city?
New York.
Correct, Jamie. In literature, My Legendary Girlfriend and Mr. Commitment were the first 2 novels by which author?
Charles Dickens.
Mike Gale. Brian, in exercise, what D is the name given to a bar with a heavy ball or disc at each end which is lifted for weight training?
Dumbbells.
Correct. Asjad, which of the countries of the UK is sometimes referred to as the 6 counties?
Countries. Could you repeat the question, please?
Which of the countries of the UK is sometimes referred to as the 6 counties?
Pass.
Northern Ireland. Carl, in cookery, when making short crust pastry, which type of flour should be used, plain or self-raising?
Plain.
Correct. Simon, in pop music, which singer had UK hit singles with Bachelor Boy and Summer Holiday?
Cliff Richard.
Correct. Dave.
Bank.
In film, actors Guy Pearce and Richard Harris star in the 2002 screen version of which novel by Alexandre Dumas?
Wretched of the Earth.
The Count of Monte Cristo. Kieran, in commerce, what F is the term applied to a retail outlet that is authorised to sell the goods or services of a particular company?
Could you repeat the question, please?
In commerce, what F is the term applied to a retail outlet that is authorised to sell the goods or services of a particular company?
Favourite.
Franchise. Jazz. In which popular hobby would you use chemicals known as developer and fixer?
Pass.
Photography. Jamie, between the 2 world wars, which country built the Maginot Line?
France.
Correct. Brian, if someone says they have the collywobbles, they are describing discomfort in which part of the body, the head or the abdomen?
Abdomen.
Correct, Asjad.
Bank.
In fashion, the power suit worn by businesswomen in the 90s. Time's up. I can't complete the question. And that was very, very sad. In the second round, you achieved a tragic £500 out of a possible 5,000. Who's clearly all brawn and no brain? One of you is about to leave with nothing. Deservedly. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
Brian was the only player to answer all his questions correctly, making him the strongest link. The weakest link statistically is Dave, with no correct answers. But who will the team want off?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Carl.
Carl.
Dave.
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 Jamie.
Kieran.
Carl.
We have a tie team. Carl and Dave. 3 votes each. Asjad, what do you do?
I'm a really, really great writer.
What have you written?
I've got the best showbiz column in the country. It comes out every week, and I've got 2 books coming out this year.
And how would you appeal to women, do you think?
I'm trying to actually find a way to appeal to you, but I know I'm not succeeding there. But generally, it's I'm very romantic, and I'm very confident, and I like to take the lead.
Can you cook?
That is actually my strength. I'm actually a marvelous chef as well. I make great Indian food, Mexican, Chinese.
Is everything superlative in your life?
It is, actually.
And have you ever won the title Most Modest Man of the Year?
I'd say it was more confidence, actually.
How are you in bed?
Well, if you're free later on, then maybe... No, I'm serious. I've been waiting to meet a cute redhead, and I thought
Is
if I
your
waited
mother
long enough...
watching tonight?
I hope not.
Why, Dave?
He didn't get any questions right.
Jazz, you're a doctor.
That's right, Anne.
Why should girls fancy you?
Well, an excellent bedside manner, I think. If you know what I mean.
OK. Pretend I'm lying in bed sick in hospital. How would you go about cheering me up?
Anne, how are you?
No, I like to be called by my proper name, not my Christian name. You're only a bit of a kid. So that would be a very bad start. Go out and come in again.
I'd come in and draw the curtains first.
Don't you knock on the curtain?
No, it wouldn't make a noise, really, would it?
Clever.
You have to be a doctor.
OK, so you've drawn back the curtain.
And ask me how you are.
I'm feeling miserable.
And why is that?
Because you're standing in front of me. Why Carl?
I think he was pretty poor in the last round and again in this round.
Well, when the vote's tied, the strongest link has to cast the deciding vote. And although it'll come as a shock to Asjad, he wasn't actually the strongest link in the last round. Brian was. Brian?
Yes, Anne.
What sort of silly shirt is that?
Do you not like it? I got it specially for the show.
How would you describe it?
Stripy.
What do you do, Brian?
I'm a primary school teacher.
Where's your school?
It's in North Belfast. It's called Hollybank Primary School.
Is it? And what are you particularly good at teaching?
I specialise in geography.
So you'll be able to answer all the geography questions?
Well, I could have answered the one about the 6 counties. Yeah.
Yes, but that's because you come from Northern Ireland. Why, Dave?
You got a couple of questions wrong.
Well, you now have a choice between Dave and Carl. Who would you like to get rid of?
Dave.
Dave, the barrister, who turned out not to be very good at defending himself. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Well, it's evident that there is a conspiracy going on out there. If you look, you'll see that I'm the only young man out there with a beard. I think Carl will probably get voted off next. It seems as if, you know, he's had some shaky rounds, and eventually I think they will get rid of him.
Round 3, team, and out of a possible £10,000, you have banked just 2,000. You're down to 7 players. We're taking another 10 seconds off the time. We'll start with the strongest link for the last round. That's Brian. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Brian, the name of which precious metal is colloquially used as a synonym for cutlery, second prize, and coins between 5 and 50 pence?
Silver.
Correct, Asjad. In children's TV, what P was the name of the fictional bear for whom Sir Michael Hordern provided the voice?
Paddington.
Correct, Carl. Which 4-letter word is a score nobody wants to end up with in tennis, but is also an emotional state most people want to find in life?
Love.
Correct, Simon.
Bank.
In UK film classification, which 2-letter rating allows children to watch a film but suggests that some scenes may be unsuitable?
PG.
Correct. Kieran, in world geography, in which country is the wine-growing region of Stellenbosch?
Chile.
South Africa. Jazz. If a person is described as altruistic, what is he? Selfless or selfish?
Selfish.
No, he's selfless. Jamie, in food, which dessert shares its name with a hairstyling foam?
Moose.
Correct. Brian, in the animal kingdom, what S is a large wading bird with a long neck said to deliver newborn babies?
Stork.
Correct. Asjad.
Bank.
In language, a woman's ideal partner is said to be Mr. Who?
Right.
Correct. Carl, supermodel and actress Elle Macpherson was born in which country?
New York.
Australia. Simon, in the Flintstones cartoon, Bam Bam was the adopted son of which couple, the Rubbles or the Flintstones?
The Rubbles.
Correct. Kieran, in modern technology, which word also used to refer to fingers goes before camera, television and video disc?
Digital.
Correct. Jazz.
Bank.
The French term used in English to describe a person who has recently acquired wealth is nouveau what?
Agent.
Riche. Jamie, in law, what L is a word originating in the United States meaning to judge and to put to death without due legal process?
Can you repeat the question, sorry?
In law, what L is a word originating in the United States meaning to judge and put to death without due legal process?
Litigation.
Lynch. Brian, in the words of playwright Christopher Marlowe, Helen of Troy had a face that launched 1,000 what?
Aces.
Ships. Asjad. On TV, Gary, Tony, Deborah and Dorothy were characters from which 1990s British sitcom?
Home Alone.
Men behaving badly. Carl, in the animal kingdom, when an emperor penguin egg has been laid, which parent incubates it until it hatches, the male or the female?
Male.
Correct. Simon,
Bank.
in UK geography, which hills in the west of England, noted for their mineral water, reach their highest point at Worcester Beacon?
The Cheviot.
Time's up. The correct answer is Malvern Hills, and in that round you managed to bank £1,100. But who must have overdone the aftershave? Whose bride will never arrive? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
The statistics show that Simon is the strongest link, as he got all his questions right. Jazz is the weakest link, as he failed to get a single answer right. But how will the votes go?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Asjad.
Jamie.
Carl.
Jamie.
Jazz.
Jazz.
Kieran.
We have another tie team, Dr. Jazz and Jamie. 2 votes each. Brian,
Yes, Anne.
why Jamie?
You got a question wrong when there was some money to bank.
Carl,
Anne.
why Jazz?
I didn't like the comment he made about me in the last round.
Right, well, the strongest link has to cast the deciding vote. It might come as a shock to his listeners, but Simon, you were the strongest link in the last round.
It has come as a shock.
Who do you want to get rid of? Jazz or Jamie?
I'm going to go for Jazz.
Dr. Jazz, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Being voted off, I'm upset, gutted. I think in the latter rounds I would have been more useful, would have made more money than Jamie, and I think I'm brighter than him, to be honest. I want to see Asjad voted off next. The reason being I think he's very arrogant and he's leaving a lot of slime everywhere.
Round 4 team, and you've banked £3,100 out of potential prize money of £15,000. You're down to 6 players, another 10 seconds coming off the time. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round, that's Simon. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Simon, what is the usual word for faithfulness in marriage and is now often described as high in sound reproduction?
Dolby.
Fidelity. Kieran, in examinations, if you do exceptionally well, you are said to pass with what D?
Sorry, could you repeat the question, please?
In examinations, if you do exceptionally well, you are said to pass with what D?
Distinction.
Correct. Jamie, in maths, what is 3/4 of 24? You can use your fingers.
18.
Correct. Brian, in football, which South American country was permanently awarded the Jules Rimet Trophy in 1970 after winning the World Cup for the 3rd time?
Argentina.
Brazil. Asjad, in language, which word can come before bureau, certificate and guidance to make 3 well-known terms?
Parental.
Marriage. Carl, in British politics, the Monday Club is associated with which wing of politics, the right or the left?
Right wing.
Correct. Simon, according to Jane Austen in Pride and Prejudice, it is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a what?
Good woman.
Wife. Kieran, in nature, which word meaning to cut short the tail of an animal is also the name of a common weed with large leaves?
Dock.
Correct, Jamie. In travel, which word meaning to bring an aircraft down in the sea in an emergency can also mean a roadside trench?
Gutter.
Ditch.
Oh.
Brian, in the insurance business, what U is the name given to a member of Lloyd's of London?
Undergraduate.
Underwriter. Asjad. According to the title of the children's cartoon first broadcast in 1959, what type of vehicle was Ivor?
Engine.
Correct! Carl, in history, Henry VIII divorced how many of his wives?
8.
2. Simon, what is a singlet, a bachelor or a vest?
A bachelor.
A vest. Kieran, which form of address is used for both GPs and holders of senior university degrees?
What address? Sorry, could I ask you to repeat the question?
Which form of address does it matter? Time's up, and I'm losing the will to live. I don't know about eligible. I think it would be dangerous for you to cross a road on your own. In that round, which you probably won't have worked out, you won 0, zilch, absolutely nothing. Because in order to win money, you have to know the answers to some questions. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
In a reversal of fortune, Simon is now the weakest link as he got the most answers wrong. Statistically, Kieran was the only player to answer all his questions correctly, making him the strongest link. But whose game is over?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Simon.
Brian.
Asjad.
Kieran.
Jamie.
Asjad.
Simon, have you ever had a long-term girlfriend?
Yes, I have.
And did you practice Dolby with her? Why Asjad?
I've finally learned how to spell his name, so...
Brian,
Yes, Anne.
why Asjad?
He's just not as confident as he was in the earlier rounds, and I don't think he's just as good as he thinks he is.
Well, Asjad likes superlatives, so what can I say except you've been brilliantly stupid. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I'm not too disappointed about being voted off because I wasn't the weakest link. I think they voted me off because they were scared of me, and the main reason I came was not to win the money but to hit on Anne Robinson, and that's exactly what I did. Now I'm off to her dressing room to wait outside with some roses and some chocolates.
Round 5 and your total is still £3,100. If you'd hit your targets, it would now be £20,000. There are 5 of you left, another 10 seconds coming off the time. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Kieran. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Kieran, in politics, what adjective is used to describe a House of Commons ballot where MPs can vote as they wish?
Open.
Free. Jamie, in human anatomy, when a flexor muscle contracts, it causes a joint to do what? Bend or straighten out?
Band.
Correct. Brian, in geography, Sligo is a region of which European country?
Ireland.
Correct. Carl, in industry, which 4-letter word follows cotton, rolling and paper to give the names of 3 types of factory?
Repeat the question again, please.
In industry, which 4-letter word follows cotton, rolling and paper to give the names of 3 types of factory?
Pass.
No mill. Simon, in food, what C is a strong-smelling spice produced from dried flower buds and commonly used in the making of mulled wine?
Cranberry.
Clove. Kieran, in pop music, the Swedish group that had UK hit singles in the 90s with all that she wants, and the sign was called Ace of what?
Base.
Correct, Jamie. In social life, which word precedes bar to give the name of a place to which unmarried people go in order to meet each other?
Singles.
Correct, Brian. In theatre, the comedy by Somerset Maugham about marriage and adultery is called The Constant what? Wife or husband?
Husband.
Wife. Carl. In
Bank.
society, if a stranger approaches you on the assumption that you are someone else, this is said to be a case of mistaken what?
Identity.
Correct. Simon. In
Bank.
science, the full name of the plastic PVA is polyvinyl what?
Acrylic.
Acetate. Kieran. What A is the second largest country by area in Africa, stretching from the Mediterranean coast deep into the Sahara Desert?
Aswan.
Algeria. Jamie. In Japanese, literally meaning if it must be so, what is the usual English translation of sayonara?
Goodbye.
Correct. Brian. The eccentric resident of Longleat House, who has had several partners whom he calls wifelets, is the Marquis of where? Time's up. The correct answer is not the Marquis of Kent, Brian. It's the Marquis of Bath. In that round, team, you banked just £200 out of a possible 5,000. Is there any hope for any of you? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
Having survived the previous vote with no correct answers, Simon remains the weakest link. Jamie was the strongest link statistically as he got all his questions right. But will the voting reflect reality?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Brian.
Carl.
Kieran.
Jamie.
Carl.
Jamie,
Yes, Sam.
remind me what you do.
I'm a rugby player.
Do women find you attractive?
Not all women, no.
What's the drawback?
I think I'm a little bit too much sometimes, you know.
Too much what?
Well, just too much of a good thing, really. They're a bit scared.
Why have you voted for Carl?
You know, 2 questions wrong and didn't bank at the right time.
So, Simon, you're back on form. You didn't answer a single question correctly. Why Carl?
I just thought he paused too long on one of those questions.
Did you think he was the weakest link statistically? Do you know what statistically means?
I've heard it in a film once.
Well, statistically, you were the worst player. But it's votes that count. So it's bye-bye to the boy in blue. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
The worst thing about going off now is the fact that the others are just as stupid as I am, and yet I wasn't the worst link. I'd like to see Brian win the final, purely because he is a really nice guy, and the others, they just follow themselves too much.
Round 6, team, and you have in the kitty £3,300. You could by now have had £25,000. You're down to 4 players, another 10 seconds coming off the time. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Jamie. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Jamie, what name is given to the twice-monthly tide when the gravitational pull of the moon is at its weakest? Spring tide or neap tide?
Neap tide.
Correct, Brian. In ice hockey, the penalty bench or box is known colloquially by which rhyming term?
Shame.
Sin bin. Simon, meaning peace, what S is the word used as a traditional greeting in the East, particularly between Muslims?
Salam.
Correct. Kieran, in popular culture, which vividly coloured tandoori-style chicken recipe was once termed Britain's true national dish by Robin Cook?
Tikka masala.
Correct. Jamie,
Bank.
in maths, what is 1/4 of 1600?
400.
Correct. Brian, in TV, what S is a visual device for predicting the outcome of a general election, first used in 1955 and now associated with Peter Snow?
Scoreboard.
Swingometer. Simon, in football, the Manchester United player born Ryan Wilson is better known by what name?
Ryan Giggs.
Correct. Kieran, in nature, linseed oil is extracted from which type of plant, flax or cotton?
Flax.
Correct, Jamie.
Bank.
In UK politics, who was the last bachelor Prime Minister?
Edward Heath.
Correct, Brian. Which film, directed by Quentin Tarantino, won the Palme d'Or at Cannes in 1994?
Pulp Fiction.
Correct, Simon.
Bank.
In the home, what B is a chemical liquid used to sterilise drains and sinks?
Bleach.
Correct. Kieran, in clothing, which letter of the alphabet goes before fronts to make the name of a popular type of male underwear?
Why?
Correct, Jamie.
Bank.
In the old song, the list of the names of men going to Widdicombe Fair concludes with Uncle Tom who?
Thumb.
Cobley. Brian, which 20th century writer was wounded in the Spanish Civil War, George Orwell or Graham Greene?
George Orwell.
Correct, Simon. The title of the 1958 World War II film Ice Cold in Alex refers to which alcoholic beverage?
Whiskey.
Beer. Kieran, what is the term for a man who stands sponsor to a child at a baptism and also? Time's up and you banked £1,000. But which idiot should be returned to his village? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
Kieran is the strongest link because he didn't answer any questions incorrectly. Brian gave the most wrong answers, making him the weakest link statistically. But will the other players realise that?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Brian.
Brian.
Kieran.
Kieran.
We have another tie team. Brian and Kieran this time, 2 votes each. Kieran. Why Brian?
He got the first 2 wrong.
Brian.
Yes, Anne.
Why Kieran?
Because of his shirt.
Well, that's a pity, because the strongest link has to cast the deciding vote. And the strongest link is Kieran. Kieran,
Yes,
who'd you like to get rid of?
And after much deliberation, I'd like to vote off Brian.
Brian, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I think by appearing on the most eligible bachelor show of The Weakest Link should help my cause a little bit. Perhaps when I'm out and about it'll work as a good chat-up line. I think I would like to see Kieran been voted off next. Firstly, because he voted me off, so I would like to get my own back. And secondly, because of that awful shirt.
Round 7, and out of a possible £30,000, you've got 4,300. So I'm not sure we could even give you away. You're down to 3 players, another 10 seconds coming off the time. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Kieran. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Kieran, in cosmetics, what A is a substance bought in a spray or roll-on form and applied to the human body to prevent or reduce sweating?
Antiperspirant.
Correct, Jamie. In English tradition, what does a groom throw over his shoulder after the wedding reception, the garter or the shoe of his bride?
Garter.
Correct. Simon,
Bank.
according to the Shakespeare play A Midsummer Night's Dream, the course of true love never did run what?
True.
Smooth. Kieran, in the US medical drama ER, which character is played by British actress Alex Kingston?
No idea. Doctor something.
Dr. Elizabeth Corday. Jamie, in journalism, the late summer, when there is no hard news and the papers are full of trivial stories, is known by which 2-word name?
Indian summer.
Silly season. Simon, in politics, the religious schools promoted by government education policy are known as what schools?
Religious.
Faith. Kieran, in UK aviation, the full name of the body known by the initials BAA is the British what?
Aviation Association.
Airports Authority. Jamie, in 1492, Moorish rule ended in which modern-day European country?
Sicily.
Spain. Simon, in marriage, how many years after the silver wedding of a couple do they celebrate their golden wedding?
25.
Correct. Kieran, in April 2002, which English Midlands football club gained promotion to the Premier League after finishing second in Division 1?
Manchester City.
No, West Bromwich Albion. Jamie, in food and drink, a pressurised bottle from which drinkers of Scotch squirt soda water is known as a soda what?
Siphon.
Correct. Simon, the Impressionist artist who painted Luncheon of the Boating Party was Pierre Auguste who?
Himst.
Renoir. Kieran, the Norfolk seaside resort, which was famous for its herring industry, is Great what?
Great Yarmouth.
Correct, Jamie.
Bank.
And in geography, the island of Crete and Elba are in which body of water?
Mediterranean.
Correct. Simon, in pop. Time's up and you banked £450. Now, in round 8, you get the chance to treble what you bank, which means potentially there's £15,000 to be won. The question is, who is going to help you raise the bank balance? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
Getting the most answers right makes Jamie the strongest link statistically. Simon is the weakest link, as he gave the fewest correct answers. But at this crucial stage of the game, who will be taking the final walk of shame?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Simon.
Simon.
Kieran.
Jamie, why Simon?
It's a really tough decision, and I know he bailed me out of a 50-50 earlier on, but I think Kieran's probably been the best player consistently the whole way through.
Kieran, why Simon?
He voted for me when I was doing quite well, and I was quite hurt by it.
Simple, Simon. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Might as well have been the weakest link thickos edition. I have done no favours to enhance myself whatsoever. With 3 to go, I was over the moon, I got voted off, I was sick as a parrot. It's a game of two halves, Ron.
Round 8, team. So far, you've won £4,750 out of a possible £35,000. There are 2 of you left, and in this round you have 90 seconds, but whatever you win will be trebled and added to your total to make up your final prize money. So £15,000 is up for grabs. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round, that's Jamie. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Jamie, on a standard computer keyboard, the alternate key is represented by what 3-letter abbreviation?
ALT.
Correct. Kieran, in affairs of the heart, what name of ornithological origin is given to a secluded place that serves as a meeting place for illicit lovers?
A hide.
Love nest. Jamie, in travel, what name is given to a car that's available for private hire, but unlike a taxi, is not permitted to ply for custom in the street?
Limousine.
Minicab. Kieran, what was the stage name of the singer and film comedian George Hoy Booth?
George Michael.
George Formby. Jamie, in mythology, which Roman god was identified with the Greek sea god Poseidon?
Jupiter.
Neptune. Kieran, in TV, the crime drama starring David Suchet, which returned to BBC One in March 2002, is called NCS what?
Poirot.
Manhunt. Jamie, on what musical instrument would a Highlander play a skirl?
Bagpipes.
Correct. Kieran, in theatre, what type of husband is described in the title of Oscar Wilde's 1895 comedy?
A bad husband.
Ideal. Jamie, in maths, what is 30% of 300?
100.
90. Kieran, what is the exact male equivalent of the word schoolmistress?
Schoolmaster.
Correct. Jamie,
Bank.
in gardening, what name is given to a type of wheelbarrow that runs on a revolving sphere? Time's up. And between you, you banked just £100, which will treble and add to the winnings from the previous rounds. That means prize money tonight of £5,050. Only one of you can take the money home. So now you'll play against each other head to head. I'll ask alternating questions, best of 5. Whoever answers the most questions correctly wins. It's as simple as that. So Kieran and Jamie for £5,050. Let's play the weakest link. Jamie, as the strongest link in the last round, you have the choice of who goes first.
I'll go first, that's all right.
Jamie, the Hollywood director Samuel Wilder, who directed the films The Apartment and Sabrina, was better known by which first name?
Jean.
No, the correct answer is Billy. Kieran, in politics, what four-letter term describes the constitutional right of key countries within a body, such as the EU, to reject any proposal?
No idea.
No, the correct answer is veto. Jamie, in the university boat race, the official distance is how many miles plus 374 yards?
4 miles.
That is the correct answer. Kieran, in geography, until its sovereignty passed to China in 1999, Macau was an overseas province of which European country?
France?
No, the correct answer is Portugal. Jamie, in pop music, the American rock and roll singer Richard Wayne Penniman was better known by what name?
Little Richard.
That is the correct answer. Kieran, in TV, the name of which military organisation features in the title of the 2002 BBC series which asked, "Are you tough enough?"
SWAT.
No, the correct answer is the SAS. So, Jamie, if you answer this question correctly, you've won. In the 2002 budget, by what percentage did Gordon Brown increase national insurance payments?
1%.
That is the correct answer. That means, Jamie, you are tonight's strongest link and you go away with £5,050.
Thank you.
Kieran,
Yes,
you leave with nothing. Join us again for the weakest link. Goodbye.
I got a lot of hassle for this shirt. I don't think it was a mistake to wear it. It was a bit of a talking point. I knew I was going to get hassle for it, and it's my favourite shirt. I like it.
Well, I'm delighted I won, but on the other hand, I think we could have banked a bit more money and got a few more questions right.